Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking a really close look at one of the most famous books out there on success, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, it's massive. You really can't talk about self-help or success psychology without mentioning it. Sold millions, right? Over 20 million copies.
Exactly. It's practically defined the genre. So our mission here is to kind of unpack its core ideas.
Right. Hill spent, decades studying figures like Carnegie, Ford, the giants of his time. And his big argument, the thing we're diving into, is that wealth, success, it all starts internally. You've got to prime your mind first. That's the prerequisite.
Okay, so it's not just wishful thinking. He's got principles, right? 12 key factors.
He does. But we're going to focus on maybe the 5 pillars, the really foundational ones that underpin everything else. You know, how you actually change your thinking to get results.
Got it. So where do we start? Inside the mind.
Absolutely. That's where Hill starts. The first big concept is the mental image. People often call it visualization.
Right, I've heard that term a lot.
But Hill means something a bit more systematic. It's not just picturing a nice car for a second. It's deeper.
Okay, let's unpack that then. What's the active ingredient there? How does it work according to Hill?
He called it auto-suggestion. It's this idea that you have to consistently and intensely keep feeding your subconscious mind the image of you already successful.
Yeah.
Already having achieved the goal.
So you're deliberately conditioning your brain, telling it over and over again, this is happening.
Exactly. It's not passive. It's a routine. You're trying to make that future reality feel absolutely certain to your subconscious. And if your mind constantly holds that picture, it starts to, filter everything differently. It guides your actions, maybe unconsciously at first, toward making that image real.
Okay, so it's like setting a destination in your brain's GPS.
Kind of, yeah. And Thomas Edison, who Hill studied quite a bit, he was apparently a master at this. He didn't just hope an invention would work. He visualized the finished device working perfectly long before it actually existed.
Yeah.
That mental blueprint drove the hard work.
That makes sense. But visualization can feel a bit vague, can't it? How do you stop that image from just fading away when things get tough, where the goal seems miles off?
Good question. And that leads directly to the second principle.
Yeah.
The definite and specific goal.
Okay.
Hill is really strong on this. Your goal can't just be, I want to be successful or I want more money. It has to be concrete, tangible.
Like down to the dollar amount or the exact outcome?
Yes. Written down.
Yeah.
Specific deadline, specific amount, specific achievement. Something you can point to and say, that's it, that's the target. It needs to be big enough to stretch you, but clear enough to aim at.
This feels like where Hill really gets practical, moving past just positive thinking.
Totally. Think about Andrew Carnegie again.
Yeah.
His goal wasn't fuzzy. It was incredibly specific. I will build the largest and most efficient steel factory in the world.
Wow. That's definitely...
Right. That kind of specificity gives your brain coordinates. It lets you work backward, plan, focus resources, your time, your money, your energy, all toward that one measurable thing. It's a blueprint, not a wish.
Okay, so we've got the internal picture, the visualization or auto-suggestion, and the clear target, the specific goal. What lights the fire? What gets things moving?
That brings us to the driving forces.
Yeah.
Faith and desire.
Faith. Okay, how does Hill define that? Is it religious?
Not necessarily in a religious sense, though it can be for some. In Hill's context, it's more about unshakable self-belief. It's the absolute conviction that you will achieve that specific goal you've set.
So believing in yourself, basically.
Believing in yourself and in the attainability of the goal. It's the fuel. And that faith has to generate an intense desire, a burning drive that keeps you going day after day.
The book mentions a story, right? Willard and Cecil. They started with almost nothing but achieved a lot. How did faith play into their actions? It wasn't just sitting around believing, presumably.
Oh, absolutely not. That's crucial. Their story isn't just about magical thinking. Yes, their self-belief was critical, but it translated directly into relentless action.
How so?
Well, they faced huge setbacks, financial problems, but because they had this unwavering faith and desire, they didn't waste mental energy doubting or thinking about quitting. They just kept acting, trying new things, pivoting their strategies, working constantly toward that goal. Their belief basically eliminated failure as an option in their minds.
So faith isn't passive hope. It's the psychological engine that powers the next principle, which must be persistence.
Exactly. Persistent effort and discipline. Hill stresses this constantly. Success isn't usually a single breakthrough. It demands continuous, systematic action day in, day out.
Okay.
If the goal is the map and desire is the fuel, persistence is the vehicle. You have to keep driving it, especially when the road gets bumpy.
Which it always does, right? Setbacks are inevitable.
Guaranteed. But Hill's point is, they shouldn't stop you. Think about Edison again, the classic example.
The light bulb filaments.
Right. Thousands of failed attempts. But he didn't see them as failures. He saw them as necessary steps, gathering data in a systematic process. That's discipline. He kept taking small, effective actions every day, tweaking, learning, moving forward. Persistence.
So it seems like everything so far is very individual focused. Visualize, set your goal, believe, persist. But successful people don't usually operate completely alone, do they?
Good point.
Yeah.
And Hill absolutely addresses that. This is where we shift from the purely internal to the power of collaboration. His fifth key principle, the mastermind group.
The mastermind, that's another famous Hill concept.
Hugely influential. He argues that major achievements rarely come from a single person working in isolation. They come from synergy, from teamwork, shared ideas, pooled knowledge, and resources.
What exactly is a mastermind group, according to Hill? Just getting smart people together.
It's more specific. It's an alliance of two or more people who work in perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. The key is that common, defined goal and the harmony. It often involves people with different specialized knowledge pooling it together.
But Hill's examples, like you said, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, they were already titans. Does this only work if you're already successful or wealthy? Can regular people form a powerful mastermind?
That's a fair question. While having resources helps, Hill emphasized the synergy of knowledge and intellectual capital just as much, maybe more. It's about combining diverse skills and perspectives.
Okay.
Look at Ford and Edison collaborating. It wasn't just about money. Ford knew mass production. Edison knew energy and invention. They shared ideas, challenged each other, and helped each other create whole new industries. That synergy created something far bigger than either could have managed alone.
So the core requirement is shared purpose and complementary skills, working together accountably. That makes sense why it's still such a big idea in business circles today.
Right, it's the sort of psychological underpinning for effective networking and teamwork.
Okay, let's step back a bit. We've covered these pillars. The book is undeniably influential, using these stories of Carnegie, Edison, Ford to make success principles feel relatable. But it's not without criticism, right? What's the main pushback? What does it maybe not do so well?
I think the most common critique is that while Hill is brilliant at explaining the why you need faith, why visualization works, he can be a bit abstract or general on the how. Meaning, if you're really struggling, say, to build a new habit or overcome procrastination, the book tells you that you need persistence and faith. But it doesn't always give you concrete step-by-step techniques for how to cultivate that faith when you feel defeated, or how to structure your day for persistent action.
Okay, so it provides the big picture, the motivation, the mindset framework, but maybe not the detailed instruction manual for daily implementation.
Exactly. It's more about the foundational psychology. And this is where it's interesting to compare it to, say, more modern work on habits.
Like James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Perfect example. If you put Think and Grow Rich next to Atomic Habits, you see the difference in focus and maybe the era they came from. Hill, writing in the early to mid-20th century, is focused on that big, internal psychological shift, harnessing the power of the subconscious mind, building unshakable belief for huge goals.
He's building the engine.
Right. Whereas Clear, writing much later with insights from modern cognitive science, focuses almost entirely on the practical mechanics of behavior change.
How so?
Clear gives you the tiny steps, the habit loops, the environmental design, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. He tells you how to build the systems for consistency. Hill tells you to believe you can move the mountain. Clear gives you practical advice on starting with a small shovel and digging every day.
That's a great way to put it. Hill provides the why and the conviction for the destination, while modern behavioral science often provides the how for the daily journey.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful approach is using both. Use Hill to build that foundational belief and set the big, definite goal, and then use something like Clear's methods to build the daily habits that ensure persistence.
That makes a lot of sense. So, wrapping this up, what's the lasting power of Think and Grow Rich? Why does it still resonate after all these decades?
I think it's because Hill fundamentally codified this idea that success isn't random. It's not just luck or circumstances. It starts with a decision, with defining a goal and then deliberately aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions toward achieving it.
He gave us a language for success psychology.
He really did. All those pillars we talked about, visualization, specific goals, desire, faith, persistence, the mastermind, they are, in theory, within anyone's control. He makes you believe the main limitations are usually the ones you place on yourself.
So the final takeaway for you, our listener, is that this book offers a powerful framework. It's about priming your mind, establishing that deep psychological conviction that has to come before sustained action and big results.
Yeah, it really lays the groundwork. And maybe it leaves you with a challenging question to think about. If Hill is right, if the main requirement is belief and striving towards a defined goal, what specific, maybe slightly scary, challenging goal do you need to define for yourself right now?
What goal do you need to start feeding your subconscious day after day?
Something to really chew on.
Definitely. Define that goal, make it specific, and then, as Hill would say, begin the persistent, disciplined effort today. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
I hope it gave you some food for thought on how wealth and success might truly be created.